And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. You're joined with your host, Shawn Gervais from OrbisX CRM, as well as Mr. Marshall Hill from the Pints and Polishing Podcast, as well as hyperClean Car Care Products. Yeah, baby. And we are going to get into it. So Marty looks crystal clear. I'm a little foggy this week, but next week I got my new laptop coming with the new camera. Can't be in my office right now. We're doing some big orders for the NHL team with some AirPods, got some promo going. So I'm fuzzy today, baby, but just tune in. So anyway, how you doing, Marty? Good to see you, man.
Man, doing good. Enjoying something fruity.
Ooh, hey, we're both drinking red today.
Oh yeah, you're drinking red too, huh?
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
So I'm drinking a Negroni, and this time I switched it up. So most ingredients. So I've got my Gordon's gin. This gin's really nice because it's got a difficult to see, but it's got these little berries. So it's a dry gin, which is supposed to be flavorless, but it's got a little bit of a flavor undertone. We've got our Campari, of course, and then I've got my sweet vermouth, which is actually all the way over there. So let's hold up the imaginary bottle.
I love fruit juice, and I especially love mixing rum or the cachaça, the stuff got, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people would do vodka. To me, vodka is just not a go-to. It's too dry for me. So I like rum. I like to mix that stuff into
it's got more of a flavor to it. Yeah. I'm more of a rum stuff too.
Fresh watermelon got crushed up and blended, and so watermelon juice and rum, man.
You're giving me some ideas here because my wife's growing 3 watermelons on the back porch. Interesting. Yeah. They're like mini watermelons. So they're, not super big, but big enough I can make myself a watermelon cocktail for sure. All her hard work for these 3 months.
Yeah. So I have done watermelon beer. It's a very popular beer when I made it, and crushed up an entire watermelon, put it in the second fermenter, and man, awesome. Awesome.
That does sound good, actually. Damn.
The sugar makes it a high alcohol content.
Yeah.
And then the sweetness, then you just kind of keep drinking because it's not like a heavily sweet watermelon at that time, but it's you got a good blend of some ale and some watermelon, and you can just take them back. And next thing you know, you're like,
man, you're like, this is a nice Saturday. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I think I'd like that because a lot of times I see flavors like peach, things like that, strawberry as well. But strawberry, I don't find they do a good job of. It doesn't. Yeah, it's tough to get that one right with a nice mix, but and peach, I'm not a fan.
You're not a peach fan?
Nah, I don't mind eating a peach, like an actual peach, like the raw fruit, but peach mixed in with things, I don't know. Maybe something happened to me when I was a kid.
Peach tea? You don't do peach tea?
No, not even. No. Yeah, like my teas, when it comes to teas, I'm pretty basic, except for this one. They have a David's tea, Ruby is something. It's like a cinnamon thing. Anyway, that during wintertime, man, so good. But they've got this one it's called 9/11, and that one's so good. It's like Rescue 911 or something like that. Anyway, when you're sick, that one, man, I don't care what happened to you. You could have anything, man. This thing will cure you right up, man. You could have pneumonia. It doesn't matter. It's just that's what they should have distributed during COVID-19. But anyways, fix you right up. David's tea stock all the way up. But yeah, no, peach. I don't know. Peach things, apple. I think I'd rather apple. If I'm gonna go that like a more citrusy kind of thing. Yeah. But a watermelon beer, I could see that. So homemade, like you made that too. That wasn't damn, that's wicked. You're like a chemist, man. Yeah. I mean, you own a chemical company. I hope so.
You don't have to be a chemist. You just have to know how to
crush this.
Have the bigger picture. Take things that taste good here and things that taste good here and
put them together. That's true. Yeah, but to do it well, I think that's the
well, that's when it becomes a detailer, not a chemist.
Fair enough.
That's in the detailer part. So you mentioned Aaron a little bit ago, and I'd shout him out too. But we had a great talk. Anybody that wants to get into OrbisX, they definitely need to sign up for have Aaron take care of everything, put it all together, and
man,
go down through the whole spectrum with you. He does a great job. And it was funny in a conversation we were talking about, had a little bit of time as he was adding some things in, and So how long you been detailing? Kind of those type of conversations.
Yeah, yeah,
Come to find out, I've been detailing longer than he's been alive.
yeah. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you go, oh,
Yeah, you're like, huh.
interesting. Thanks for reminding me of that,
Yeah,
Aaron.
yeah.
Thanks, partner.
It's true.
I mean, kind of the way he said it too. He was like, "Oh, so you've been detailing longer than I've been a lot." Like
Yeah, and
this
it's
light
like,
bulb
wow,
went off, and he's like,
thanks.
"You're
Yeah,
old." I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
"Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Thanks. Go
I
team."
know. It's like I had already started and sold maybe 10 or 12 companies before he was born. And I was like, Jesus, when I found that, I was like, I've literally lived like multiple lifetimes before, but man, I tell you, what he's been able to do with his shops has been phenomenal
Oh
in a
yeah,
short period of time. It's crazy.
pretty amazing.
And it just goes to show you though, when someone does the right kind of things, they follow the process, they listen to the good advice that's out there, and they follow the right people. It's amazing what they can do, so it's and I mean, obviously he's got that special, thing that entrepreneurs just need to have. But at the same time, he takes chances too, as you know. Like you gotta, when you're in business, sometimes you gotta take leaps. I've talked to him before on the phone, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just heading to Dallas." I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing down there?" He's like, "I'm going to take this tinting course. I'm going to come back, teach my guys to tint." I was like, "Oh, you took my advice? You're going to add tinting?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, absolutely, man." He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go train up myself and then get them to do it." So he was listening to the advice that he knew where he wanted to be. He wanted to run the business, but he didn't necessarily want to be the one tinting and doing PPF and all this stuff. So he went, took the courses, trained his guys, and so on and so forth. But by taking that chance, like, you got to think, man, like he was doing that before most people had even left their house. You know what I mean? And so here he is, boom, flying down there. He's taking this course, that course, and he's just on that mission. He's making it his life so that he can grind now, so he can climb later, right? And so that's I think it's an important thing, man. People got to do, take risks. Yeah, that's not a tip. That's just conversation. That's
Don't worry, plenty more tips to come from Shawn, as always. Man.
loads of tips. Loads of tips. Yeah.
Anything good? You need anything good?
Man, tons of stuff. But actually, speaking of eating, we have something for this weekend though.
Oh, there we go.
Interplanetary pasta. The packaging is lackluster, of course, because this is from one of the what do they call them here? I think they could just call them smoke shops, but they used to have a different name. They keep changing the name, the regulations. But anyway, our cannabis stores here. So this one is from Shiny Bud. That's what it's called, Shiny Bud. Pretty cool store. They've got many locations here. They've just blown up. They started just giving away licenses here. Like I'm sure it was the same where you are too, right? Because no,
they don't give them away. You
well, no, they're not giving them, but I mean, you have to pay for it. Here, you just have to. I solemnly swear to maple syrup that I will.
Card for you and a card for you.
Exactly. Yeah, the
guys up in Canada. Oh, Canada.
Exactly. But yeah. So, but aside from that, yeah, I've been eating some pretty good food actually, because
and you get free healthcare, free medical cards. I mean, it's a great place.
It's a great place. Yeah, it's fantastic. You got to deal with a little bit of snow, but that's okay. No big deal. And actually, recently, 2 weeks ago, last week we had hail. So it was, I think it's called hail, where it's like ice that falls from the sky. Yeah, but granizos. It was coming down. We had literally like snow and ice in our front yard. It was ridiculous. But outside, it was hot, almost like you were at the beach. It was the weirdest thing in the world. And then followed by that was severe weather. We had there's pictures I can send you. There's cars that are 5 feet underwater, streets just overtaken by it. It was nuts. But the crazy thing that lasted 2 days. We had 0 no-shows. We had people driving through that shit to get to the shop. They were like, I don't want to miss my appointment, because if I miss my appointment and how busy you guys are, I might not get another appointment for 2 or 3 weeks. It was insane. But it just goes to show you. But yes, we have some wild stuff that happens here in Canada, but we persevere, we make it through, and that's it. But yeah, man. But yeah, I've been eating some pretty cool stuff actually, because my wife has been experimenting in the kitchen, trying new different things and stuff like that. And so we went to a couple shops and we bought some random stuff and challenged ourselves. And we said, let's see what we can kind of cook up over the next little while, things we haven't done or things we haven't done in a while. So it's been more a week of experimentation. And last night, she made these like stuffed pepper things. Oh my God, just amazing. You ever have stuffed peppers? Are you a stuffed pepper guy? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, stuffed pepper guy. Love to put habaneros. Throw some.
Oh yeah.
What was it called? Oaxaca, OAXA, I think, or something. It's a Latin cheese.
Okay. Okay.
Put some of that into
Yeah.
some poblanos. That's that's
Mm.
great. A little bit on the
Mhm.
grill, get them charred.
Yeah. Oof. Good to go. Yeah, man. Trust me. That's it. That's what I'm looking for right now. Is I'm looking for a new grill because I went to the store, I was buying some stuff for our new pool. And when I was there, I saw it's everything, seasonal stuff. It's all like right beside each other. Some of the grills they've got now, man, it is. I'm telling you, they've made like leaps and bounds, man. I swear, like some old NASA engineers are now working for people that make grills, man. It's like Napoleon was like, "Yep, we'll take them all. All the engineers, bring them over here." Because man, they've got some stuff going on, man. And I know you're a big barbecue guy, smoker guy as well. So I know you got some fancy tools.
I don't. I've used the
What?
same grill
No shit.
13 years. Yeah, I built mine
Damn.
in with and put some rock in, and
Oh,
I've got a
nice.
rock wall,
Outdoor
and so
kitchen. Yeah.
I built it into the
Damn.
wall. So no,
That might also that might also
I've
help
used
with
the
some of the
exact
flavors,
same
man.
one for
Holy shit.
13 years. So
Dude,
you got to replace the tubes every couple years, replace the grating, but
sure.
grill's a grill.
Regular maintenance, and we're big maintenance fans, right? So see,
But I
regular
have,
maintenance.
I have this year, I think an addition for me has been more that skillet blacktop type cooking.
So
I always would
that's
do burgers or steaks, everything I do on the
yeah,
grill. And I've been trying to work on new ways of cooking, finding new ways of doing
yeah,
some stuff. And so bought one of those big ones and put it, there on the oven stove.
yeah.
So I've got a
That,
skillet now that
that's
I'll.
amazing. Yeah. See, and that's what I saw yesterday when I was at the store, and I was
Mhm.
seeing those, and I was like, man, that might be different, It's,
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So you haven't ever done a steak on there?
no game changer, huh?
Oh,
Oh,
you're in for an experience. Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You've never taken a cast iron and made a steak on cast iron?
yeah, for sure. That's what I use primarily but I use that in our house, like on our glass top. But I feel like it would be different on a barbecue setup.
Oh, okay. But at least you've done a
Yeah.
cast iron. Not
Oh yeah,
everybody's cooked a
100%.
steak on cast iron.
Oh,
And
really?
I
Yeah.
hadn't for a long time. And then when I started, I was like,
Mm.
okay, I gotta really play around with this. Like
Yeah.
it changes the flavor.
Oh,
That bark.
100%.
Like I was
Yep.
scared at first. That's why I never used to do it. I'm like, I'm burning the steak. Like
Yeah, yeah. Because there's a
technically you
it's
are. Like,
different than yeah, exactly. And that's where once you know that, and you also have to know what to use it for. Like so my veggies, for example, I have one of those big, I think they're called a wok, like the big thing. So that's where I usually do my veggies. Because it cooks them differently, and you can move things around to areas where it's not as hot. You have that central heat right at the very bottom. Then you move them around stuff so you can preserve the vegetable quality a little different. So I use that, but I don't usually cook vegetables in my cast iron unless I'm using those just to season up the steak or something like that. But yeah, like once you know those kind of, how you operate, you can make some. But the cast iron, that's key. That is, but depends on how you treat the cast iron once you're done cooking as well. Because I've seen some horrific things. Me, I like to preserve the flavor in it, so I don't go too heavy with like soaps and things like that, because I want to kind of lock that flavor in from whatever I cooked before. But yeah, I had in the beginning had some experiences where I was new to cast iron and I ended up just rusting out one whole pan, and yeah, it was bad. You got to know what to do. So you do a little research. Yeah.
yeah, I've done that. I've done that.
Yeah. But I want to try one of those flat top barbecues because I feel like with just the cooking coverage, like the things I'd be able to do, and I want to get those those like spatula type flipper things, like the big long metal. Yeah, that's what I'm about, that life. How about you though? Eating, you've been drinking your watermelon thing?
Yeah. So this weekend, speaking of cast iron, we did a little experiment. So we were at the stores looking at steaks, and I was like, well, I want that. I want you to try this, and you haven't tried that either. So it was like, let's get 3 different steaks, 3 different cuts, and try and figure out which ones you like. So it was fun, just the regular old sirloin, then the Kansas City strip. Well, most people call it the New York strip. Here through the Midwest, We call it the Kansas City
Kansas
Strip,
City
KC
Strip.
Strip.
All right.
You know, because
KC Strip.
we're not
Yo,
going to support New York, right? We're going to support, Kansas City, KC Strip.
KC Strip. All right. From now
Most
on, that's
people
what I'm
say that
calling it.
doesn't exist. So, whatever.
Yeah. KC Strip. It's a thing. We're
But
starting it now. That's what.
then we got the boneless ribeye. So I surprisingly am not the same as everybody else on their steak.
Okay.
I like it lean.
Ah.
I don't
yeah.
like I know there's a lot of flavor in the fat,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you got high cholesterol, you're not supposed to eat fat. So they tell you
So,
can't eat red meat because you eat all that fat.
true.
So I still want to eat red meat. And there was years I didn't.
Just eat the
years I didn't eat red meat. But marrying a Brazilian, that was not you could not eat red meat. So bought the red meat nonstop. And I realized, oh crap, I need to really be careful here. So like the picanha, right? I always shave my picanha fat off.
Okay, I was about to ask you about that because
Yep.
yeah,
So I have to really be careful with what I eat. And so that's why I like the sirloin. Doesn't have as much flavor, but it's okay. I can eat more just meat with less fat.
and at least you can still eat it too, right? That's the important part. Yeah, fingers crossed. This is true. Yeah, it's one of those things you don't realize, like as time changes, the things that like I notice now, some foods that I ate my whole life and I love them, as I'm getting older, I'll eat them. And sometimes I have to either eat less because I still want to eat it. But if I eat the same amount I used to, it doesn't sit right. I don't know. Like, I don't know if you found that too, but certain things, the food could be changing too, obviously. Right. Like we do grow a lot of our food during summer months, but I've definitely noticed a change, and especially certain things that we'll buy at the grocery store, things like that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's time for me to just sack up and just eat it anyways. Yeah, but how about online? You seen anything interesting happening online? Or?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I saw a guy named Ryan that some people know. Not everybody here knows, but Ryan made a little post announcing that he was joined the hyperClean team. So he is our business development, Ryan Hagan.
There we go. Team HC, baby.
Mm-hmm. So excited about that. That's the big deal for us right now. It frees up a spot, right? Availability to where I can, and that's what's been the fun part, right? As you grow a business, then when a team member comes, it takes some stuff off your plate and you go take care of some other stuff. So I get to look at some other stuff on my plate. This has been a lot of fun. One of those is going to be product development, heavier into product development. And we got some cool stuff that's going to start rolling out. We got a lot of stuff coming out third and fourth quarter. And I think we're going to wait on Stack. That is probably the best product I've ever created.
Right on, man.
And it will do amazing. It will do amazing. So
that's wicked, man.
You'll hear more about that later. And
yeah.
So that's really what's been cool, right? So I get to take not a chemist, like I said a second ago.
Yeah.
And I don't need to be. I love it that companies like, we got a chemist. Like, cool. Well, we got 40 plus years of detailing experience.
Helps a lot.
And most detailers know, hey, when I use something like this, a lot of us can think of, well, this does this, and you start to really understand kind of the idea of what products do. But now I get to go in and talk to the chemist, right? And I don't just have one chemist. I get to hire a bunch of different chemists that they love to build products for people. It's what they do. It's crazy to know how much in the beauty care world crosses over into art. Yeah.
No shit, eh?
Yeah. And you start talking to them, understanding what, these products do. What does this do? How does this, if I need to change this, do I use this? And we talk through them and, let me go grab this. And they start looking at, this, we find this in such a, lipstick or, eyeshadow, like a lot of crazy stuff that is inside of.
A lot of that makes sense because you got to think there's like, people that wear makeup. I was going to say women, but just people that wear makeup. Let's just go with that for now. It's 2023. There's a lot of similarities in some sense. Like some things you want to last long, some things you want to be a shorter time. Some things are to remove things. Some things are to, there's a lot of, I can see that. Some things that have to be, hydrophobic and so on and so forth. That's interesting. Wow. I never thought about that correlation before, but
exactly. There's a lot of random things that you start learning and you go, okay.
That is interesting. Yeah. Wow. That's wicked. The thing I like too is I've noticed that your product line focuses a lot around the specific things that they're not just fluff products. There's specific things that someone's going to need to run their business, do it efficiently, get the job done, make customers happy, and also has that resell value that they can resell to other customers, like other detailers, but even like you mentioned thousands of times, car groups, putting together little buckets, things like that. That's something I've always noticed with your product line versus a lot of other manufacturers that are out there. I've seen a lot of vendors, they just have, we all know some of the famous ones that I don't need to mention, where they take the same thing, different label, call it something else, add some flashy graphics, and it's now something else. And it's like, still doing the same shit or not doing what I wanted it to do, but it's just a new product. I've noticed you have a much different focus for your company, and that's one thing I always appreciated, even to the point where how you want to ship things so that it's less waste, less shipping costs, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's hats off to you, man. Seriously.
Yeah, craft car care. Yeah,
we're
different than Budweiser. We're different than those guys that just.
Yeah,
and it's funny you mentioned one off air that we were talking about one company. And it's like, yeah. You can see those companies, you understand they go to somebody and those people make all their product. I mean, that's how they randomly show up and they're open for business and they have a full catalog already. Yeah. It's like, how'd you do that?
You developed all of that overnight.
Got it. Makes sense. Makes sense. So it's yeah, true. I mean, we craft our stuff. We really work on, work on what it needs to be done. Why, why are we wanting to, for instance, like glass cleaner. Why do we need a glass? I mean, anybody can go get glass cleaner. I find it hilarious. There's professional style people that, there'll be a spokesperson for others and they show their videos and they're like, yeah, well, just grab spray away glass cleaner. I mean, we use it all the time. Wow. Interesting that you use spray away all the time as a professional detailer and you tell people you can get it anywhere and you use just the same things that anybody else would. Okay.
Yeah.
Great job. Perfect. Well, how about just a tip? Maybe you should use some other stuff, right? Maybe you should have glass cleaner that has lubrication in it. Maybe you should use something that would be a little bit easier for the guys. So, there's just a tip for you there, buddy. Don't use spray away.
I like that you're coming on board with the bouquet now. This is good. Where you're but it's so true though. We had oh my god, we had this detailer. We were subcontracting out some work when we got busy, stuff like that, and then we had sent him a job, and I don't know, something just kind of triggered with me and said, okay, hold on, let me just take a look at this guy, his process, everything. So I went in as a secret shopper anyway, and I was talking to the guy and stuff about the products he was using and this and that, to find out more about what he's going to be doing for our customers, that when we have an overflow, we send out there and so on and so forth. And come to find out, some of the stuff he was using was actually going to destroy the tint that we had just put on customer vehicles. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. And I was like, dude, this guy's saying he's professional, saying he's this and that. He came highly recommended, whatever. But yet he had no idea what he was using. And he was just using stuff that he found in forums. He went online, asked some people, what do you think I should use? And people were like, oh, I use this. And he followed this whole long thread of this fight back and forth. And anyway, I was, oh my God, this is terrible. So now what we do with all our subcontractors is we provide all the materials. So we say, this is what we want you to use anytime our vehicles come in. If you want to use something else on your own, your side of the business, go for it. But anything that we send over, because oftentimes we'll have an overflow. And so when that happens, that's what we do. But that quality control really needs to be there, and that's where, it's not, detailers sometimes get a bad rap as it's just, anybody with a bucket and a wash bit, but there is more to it than that. There's definitely different spectrums of that. And so I've noticed that a lot with your product line. You can tell the experience that came with it. It's not just reselling someone else's formula that's prepackaged. And, as we've seen a lot, I've seen that too, where people pop up and they're like so excited to be announcing that next week we're going to be offering our own line of da 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 da. And it's like, really? So you put that all together in 3 months? That's pretty incredible. 40 plus items in your catalog in 3 months. That's I don't even think Elon Musk could do that. It's like, and so yeah, we know the truth, obviously, right? But like, I know how much time and dedication you put into your products, and that's why we use them as well, but yeah, awesome. And that's good, man. So the new products coming out, any ETA?
Yeah, we should have, let's see, we're in August now. We should have the first of 4 products that are scheduled should be around Labor Day, I would think. So we've got we went heavy on interior. We've got a carpet system that we'll come out with, as well as I've got an interior cleaner and conditioner that I've infused with lanolin. And I love talking about that. When we release it, I'll talk a lot.
Okay.
Because one word, lanolin.
All right. Well, I'm excited.
You go and look at conditioners, go look at things, and people always wonder, well, how much is, or is it in here? I started trying to do research when I was going to build out this product.
Yeah.
There's only one oil that is water soluble.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
No.
That's lanolin.
Damn.
So any of those other oils, some are beeswax, some are, I butchered the rest, but if you go look at, start pulling up leather conditioners or cleaner conditioners, and if they list some other type of oil, that it's not water soluble. So I realized that you couldn't really put any in it, right? Because it's not water soluble. So you really can't put, so I've put as much lanolin in this formula as you can, and you can feel it on the seats, the leather. You can feel it on the deck. You can feel it when you condition, and you can feel it then on your hands. So one of the things you got to do is you really got to kind of work in the cleaner.
Okay.
And we love using our scrub monster, and you working in with that felt kind of scrubby side.
Yeah.
And then just leave it, let it sit there for a little bit. And then the conditioner will start acting. Everything starts going, and you come and just lightly wipe it off after, and it leaves a cool little satin look to it. Really refreshes the interior and makes it look rich and deep.
Yo, that's beautiful. Damn, lanolin. Holy shit.
I don't know.
Man, you got me wondering. I want to get some too, because for our cinema, we got leather seats in there. And I don't know why I'm like a nut about keeping them conditioned. Just a nut about it. And
it's what we use on our couch at home. Yep.
Oh shit.
Yep. When I started working with it, I had to make sure I wanted to use it over there, use it on a bunch of different leathers. Yeah.
Because I haven't been happy with what I'm using now.
Yeah, we sent it out to a lot of detailers who clean boats.
Okay.
People love it for that vinyl. Love it.
Yeah, no doubt. Boats, that's actually a good one. I'm so glad you said that, because here it's kind of an untapped market. I know a lot of places like Florida, stuff like that, there's a lot of guys that go after the boats, but here there's not many people that are targeting the boats. And I was always surprised at that. So we target the boats, obviously. But I'm always looking for new products that we can kind of introduce and push. And this is why it's good for your boat, and so on and so forth. And that's perfect. Yeah. And if anyone's listening, little quick tip, boats. Look into boats. Absolutely. Especially if you're mobile. Oh my God. Yeah. Trust me, you're going to get per square foot, you're going to get a lot more money out of boats than you will if you do it right. So, give Marty a call. Well, reach out to his new sales rep. There we go. And see, there we go. And then get yourself some new lanolin product when it drops. And then lanolin. No shit, huh? I'm excited to check this out now. I'm actually curious to go see the stuff I'm using now. I'm going to go check the back of it when we're done. And I'm curious to see, because like I said, I haven't been super happy with it. It does the job. What I do is I just do it more often, but I don't find there's any lasting effect. And I don't like the after, like the final result. What do you call that? Like the final sheen or whatever. I don't know. I'm just not happy with it. I don't like when my theater seats are too shiny. And that's what I find is happening. They're just like, I walk in there, I turn on the pod lights, and it's just, I'm hit with this, So when you said satin finish, I was like, sold. That's it right there. I was sold. That's good. But yeah, so you got a tip for us today?
I do.
Tips. All right.
something that you see in every single Facebook group.
Yeah.
It's a question that a lot of people ask, usually when they're beginning. But you mentioned boats. A lot of people ask this question. Hey, I had a customer that wants me to wash their boat. Right? Oh, I got this new thing. I haven't. And then this question, what should I charge?
He went there. Yeah. It's a good
What
question.
should I charge?
Yeah.
And I really think I want to start replying. I used to years ago think that I was, really helping the cause by answering their question. And, after years and years, I began to just kind of chuckle. And then I started to really have empathy for the people that would respond with very informative answers. One of those answers is always, well, you got to take your cost and, okay, here's how you figure out your cost. And okay, you got to do this. And they give you a formula for knowing then based off of the time and how much cost you have involved and how much, you want to make per hour type of deal. There is a formula that you can do. You can.
Sure.
And in every single comment where you hear, what do I charge? You generally see some type of formula. And I want to start replying back now. Well, why are you there? I think if you figure out why you're there, then you can really figure out how much you should charge. Why? Why does being there matter? Well, why are you there? Is it because you love to clean cars? We hear those people. I love the way people praise me. I enjoy cleaning. I really do enjoy the work. And boy, when people come up and they tell me how great it looks, or the customer raves about it, or, right? Okay, no worries. Just, you need to answer the question. Why are you there? If you're there for that type of praise, cool. Really doesn't matter what you charge. You're going to get paid off of that. That's why you're there. And it really won't matter about the money. You're only there for what fulfills you. If getting praise from somebody fulfills you, then cool. Like, doesn't matter. Charge $10.
Exactly.
Right?
Could be
You're
pro
going to
bono.
go home extremely happy. You're going to be the happiest person around, and you're going to get because you received what you wanted.
Yeah.
And hey, made a little cash.
Exactly.
Only people that say that, hey, I made a little cash.
Yeah.
They love to do it because, hey, I'm rewarding myself, and listen, I made a little cash. All good. Okay.
It's true.
You're not really concerned then about what you should charge. You're only concerned then about fulfillment of your own self, which is perfectly great. You should be. However, if other people are going, no, that's not why I've got to make, what do you need to make?
Yeah.
Why are you there? Well, I need to make, and they'll usually list, right, that formula. Okay. How did you get the number for that formula? Why are you there? So your life outside of your business, do you think it affects your business or not? Great question. And a lot of us should start to answer that internally. Because if you believe that your personal life does affect your business, then you will understand that why I'm there. And that formula for numbers is going to have, a variable. A big variable is your personal life and your personal expenses. What do you need to be there? Why are you there? As your variable of life changes, some people are single, some people are married, some people have kids, some people want a bigger house, some people don't want anything, some people just want to get, some cash and some praise from people, and they're happy, right?
It's true.
There's a massive variable. And when you figure that out and you can set a groundwork for that having some regular stability, then you can really start to answer the question, why am I there? Well, I am there to provide for this. And inside of this, there's going to be levels that need to chop off of so that I can do this. Why are you there? That's how you'll answer the question, what should I charge? Because I have to leave what I'm doing here to go do this over here so that I can do more of what I was originally
what I
doing.
actually want to do. Exactly.
What I really want to do.
Yeah.
So what I really want to do, how much time is it going to take for me to provide to get me to do what I want to do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the formula. And I think that's the right formula, because the basic formula obviously is, your cost minus this, that, whatever you want to make per hour or per day or whatever. But really the why, that whole start with why usually is focused on the customer side of things. But I think if it focused on the business side of things as well, where it's, why are you there? Yeah, spot on. Yeah, that's good. It's got me thinking, and leads into what I wanted to talk today, which is the opposite side of the spectrum, which is what the customer is expecting. And so why they are willing to pay certain amounts. And I'll use two examples because, as you know, my house is under construction right now. We just put in our new pool, and there's two parts to the pool process. One is the pool. The other part is the concrete that goes around the pool, the concrete slab, and making the backyard look great. So dealt with two different companies for this process, and dealing with both of them has been a journey. One better than the other, but a buddy of mine was asking me because he does concrete work, and he said, let me know when you're ready to do the concrete work, and da 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 da. And we didn't go with him, even though he obviously would have been the cheapest option. Didn't go with him. He's great at what he does, but I wanted someone that if something goes wrong, I have a guarantee that I can, if it's your buddy, you don't want to end up in, small claims court fighting over this and that. So there's a lot of things that go into these business decisions that people make. But the other thing was time was a big impact for us. So I wanted someone that could get it done quickly, could get it done, the right way, obviously, but also that their process was in place in a way that made me feel comfortable that they were doing things at the milestones and so on and so forth. Price wasn't as much of an issue. And I think a lot of customers are going to be in the same boat where price, even though that does become a big objection for a lot of people, and it's a big hurdle. So a lot of people have that question, what should I charge? But the what should I charge really only matters, I think, once you're meeting all those other check boxes of your process for things that are in place. Because price, if you give me the best price possible, but you have the shittiest process, you're not communicating with me, I'm not receiving reminders, I'm not receiving updates, you're not even telling me what you're going to do or post care, this and that, the price is irrelevant because it's the whole process, right? So for me, price is kind of the icing on top, but all the ingredients that make up, the cake or whatever else it is. So the experience I had recently, we had two contractors. One installed the pool. He was the more expensive side of things because we had to buy the actual pool, get it installed, rent a crane. It was a big deal. The other guy was doing concrete. So the guy with the pool, we went with someone that was highly recommended. Their price was on par with everybody else. So it was like, okay, the price is good. But it was the recommendations that we saw online where they had things like Marty and I have talked about before, top 100 and all kinds of stuff. So anyways, they do have 65 years of experience, which was good. But then recently they started doing landscaping work. And the problem was their business started growing too fast and in a different direction that the pool installation side of customer service was kind of falling through. So they did an amazing job installing the pool. Pool was, priced right, everything like that. The post sale is where they started to fall through. And so would they get a referral from me? Probably not. But in comparison, the concrete guys we worked with, I reached out to 3 companies. We chose the most expensive one. And we didn't choose them based on price. We chose them based on the other factors. The guy got back to me the same day. He told me I can be there in 20 minutes to take a look at the grounds and assess things. He got here. He told me the size of his crew. He said, we could have 4 guys here this day. We can do this. This is the result you can expect. This is the process it's going to be. We require 40% up front, another 40, and then 20 when it's finally done, final inspection. Everything was laid out. He had a really good process in place. He explained all of this to me before we even talked numbers. We didn't talk price. He looked at things, calculated square footage of this. He's measuring things. His whole process. Anyway, the price came in. I told him afterwards, I love your process. I think you did great. On the next job that you do, I think you should raise your price by $10,000. And I told him this because I would have gladly paid an extra $10,000 because he seemed very confident. He seemed like he knew what he was doing and all the pieces were in place. I felt like I was going to be taken care of. And so when it comes to pricing, what you should charge, I think it's depending on the processes you have in place. So I do think there's that formula where why are you there? What do you want? But I also think the processes that you have in place that are going to instill that confidence in the customer, you can literally charge almost anything you want as long as the customer, you convey that to the customer that they're going to get that process and that final result. And I see a lot of detailers where they'll have half of the process in place and then they're, struggling to get jobs because they're trying to charge whatever they want to charge based on their formula, but they haven't figured out the customer's formula as well. And so I think when it comes to the what should I charge, it really does also come down to what are you worth right now? And a good way to increase your worth is by setting up the right process. And so having things in place, like even Marty at your side, if you were to do all your customer service, hyperClean would probably be in some trouble, just like me. If I did all my customer service, it'd probably be in some trouble. But we hire people, just like you've taken on new staff. I've taken on support staff as well. We do these kinds of things to make sure that our process is there so we can over deliver on the customer service side, things like that. Set up the right processes for people to order, for people to deal with, if something goes wrong, we can deal with warranties, guarantees, refunds, whatever we need to deal with. But ultimately setting up that process elevates, it's like raising our stock price if we were on the stock market. And so whatever you can do to raise your stock price, you're going to be able to charge almost whatever you want, is my recommendation.
So how long had that guy been in pool business?
So this guy in the pool business, 65 years. Yeah.
And how long the
father-son thing. Concrete guy, 13.
Cool.
Yeah. And got a nice discount on it too, because he's looking to build an app. So I had some pointers for him. So, yeah, worked out pretty well. But he actually ended up being a really good guy. But his process, honestly, was flawless, start to finish. Everything. Yeah. Like it's just been great. And in comparison, like the pool guy came here, and installing an in-ground pool is not a cheap thing. Like we're not talking about a pair of sneakers, you know what I mean? And the guy hadn't even asked once, how do you like the pool? You happy with the pool? Things like that, little things like that. And so there's other components that he does, like he does landscaping, things like that. It's not a chance in the world we would hire him for any of that because his process in place that he has now, I'm like, this is not someone we want to work with, even if he was the cheapest in town. So my dad told me a long time ago, you don't have to be the cheapest in town. You just have to be the best. If you're the best, charge whatever you want.
Agreed. Absolutely agree with him. A trap that many detailers fall into is thinking that they are the best and that they can charge the best. And they're only
don't have that process
a year in.
Yeah, exactly.
They've only 3 years been in. I love the guys that are like, I've been detailing for 5 years. And they're like, motherfucker, like, fuck that. Cool, man. Congratulations, brother.
Yeah.
Like, it is awesome. You should be proud. You should be proud at 3 years. You should be proud at 1 year.
100%.
But realize this guy was 13, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It's not his
time
first
to get to be the best. It takes time to get to charge the most.
Yep. It's funny you say that. He was telling me too. He said his first 2 years, he had a business partner. Now he doesn't. Things were all over the place. So he realized the business partner was a big part of the problem. Let him go. Then after that, prior to this episode, I was asking a bunch of questions because I knew hearing his story, I wanted to talk about that side of things and building the right process, and so he was telling me things. It was like, what was your journey like to get to now, and it wasn't always a beautiful process. And I asked him when he thought they were good enough to do concrete professionally and charge the rates that he's charging now. He told me 3 years ago. So that was at year 10. Prior to that, he said he was still charging close to the same rates he is now, but he didn't feel like he was delivering. And so I said, well, what changed? And he said, what changed for him was when COVID happened, things shut down for a little bit. He had some time to sit there and think about the business. So he actually took the time. Before that, he was just working in the business. That was all he's doing. Now, since he's been here, he's barely done anything. His crew's doing everything. And I said, so what do you do on a daily basis? He says, I think about the next coming months ahead. We find a job. I do research on that customer. I find out what they're looking for. I talk to some of their neighbors sometimes. He's like, I asked them like, hey, did you get any work done here? How did you feel about the work you got done? Here's some complaints about the area. This guy really goes in. I'm telling you, he was 20 to 40% in that range higher than the other competitors that he has. So he was significantly higher because, we're talking thousands of dollars, 20 to 40% adds up pretty fast. And so he was a lot higher, but he's got a process in place. He almost guarantees the final result will be exactly what you want. And so far they've lived up to that, like to the point that we've bought them lunch twice since they've been here. That's how good they are. Like the pool guy, I wouldn't even give him my leftovers. So in comparison, but it takes time. You're absolutely right. And that's where, like we're at our shop, we're going into our 4th year, which is awesome. We're amazing at what we do. And I would say we're definitely top tier in the city. Would I say that my staff are the best detailers in the country, in the world, in the city? Maybe not. I think that what we do is we deliver over and above the value that we're charging to our customers. I think we do a fantastic job, and we've got 1,100 plus 5-star reviews to show it. But I would never go and say that we're the best, because there's always room for improvement. There's always room for something extra that you can learn. And I don't want that to get to my guys' heads either. So if any of them are listening to this podcast, you got some work to do, buddy. But there's always room for improvement, always. And knowing that and recognizing that, your business will always be in development for the better versus I know everything, you can't teach me shit. That's where you're closed off, and those walls and boundaries. Like you're probably, I don't even have to say that out loud, because you're probably not even listening to this podcast because you clearly think you know everything already, and you're not tuning into people that know their shit. So, but yeah, absolutely. How about you, Marty? When did you become an expert?
Oh, last year.
Right on, man. Here we go.
I got my certification 6 months ago.
Nice. Oh, I love certificates. Did you get something printed for the wall? What's that? Little badge of honor. Oh my God, shots fired. But it's me too. It's funny. Like I'm really good, but there's always what was that saying? You're only as good as your last fight or something like that. But I don't know. My old boxing coach always told me though. He was like, whenever you're coasting and you're just resting, there's someone out there and he's training really hard to kick your ass. And he used to tell me that, and I was like, fuck, that's true. So now I just don't sleep, and that's why you see the guys. They're like, man, Shawn, do you ever take a break? You're always doing this and that. And I'm like, no. I'll sleep later, man. I got things to do. I want to be better because I want to eventually consider myself the best, but it takes time for sure. Absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, listen, thanks. Appreciate you. Next week, we'll have another bouquet of tips. Marty will hopefully have some more news. I'm excited for these new products. If I can get an early sample for my theater seats, man, I'd be really happy. Just throwing it out there. We'll see. Appreciate you, man. We'll see you next week, guys. Stay tuned and tune in tomorrow or Thursday. When do you got the community pub?
Oh, so the community pub actually is every other Wednesday, and it's live now. It's live on the hyperClean specialist group on Facebook.
So
7:30 p.m. every other Wednesday. People can come be in. There'll be a link. It's there inside of the specialist group. So come on, be a part, have some beer, and talk about detailing.
Beautiful. And if someone's interested in distributorship or something like that, do they get in touch with your new hire, or what do they do? Sure. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. Go to the website, hypercleanstore.com.
Funnel some sales here. You know what I mean? And
trying to help him. He's greatly appreciative of that.
Yeah. Awesome, man. See, Shawn's a great guy, despite popular opinion. No, all good. But, obviously OrbisX has ruffled some feathers in the software industry, as we know. But, man, I got love for everybody, and it's just, I think we can all strive to be the best. And just because I'm holding the crown now doesn't mean that we can't all win, There we go. See, it's the red juice. Sorry, guys. Anyways, thank you very much. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week. Appreciate you, Marty.
See you,
All right,
man.
cheers. See ya.